it up, but it's worth a try. And I might keep on dreaming out loud. It's a beautiful life, staying under blue skies. Next year in the winter, let's give it a try. I'll keep on dreaming out loud tonight. Winter's dawning, and I can't seem to adapt. And somebody told me that you felt the same way since we went. Why won't you give me a call? We'll ride on those waves again. California, and I can wait through a storm, 'cause without you it wouldn't be the same. Last night I was dreaming out loud. California sun was making my eyes dry. Can we still make it happen? It's worth a try. Oh, and I might keep on dreaming out loud. It's a beautiful life, staying under blue skies. And next year in the winter, let's give it a try. I'll keep on dreaming out loud tonight. Yeah, I'll be dreaming out loud tonight. I'll keep on dreaming out loud tonight.
You're right there. Keep going. Just put your head down, keep working, and keep going. No matter what happens, just keep going. What I always say is put a championship routine in place. You know, whatever that routine is, you wake up every single day, and that's what holds you accountable. No matter if you win or you lose, no matter how you feel, you know that eventually it's going to pay off for you.
Cool. The new intro was so awesome, Matt. We had to show it twice. That is incredible. I want to show you guys this. This, I think, is really interesting, and I think it'll put some things into perspective. First of all, this is the first deal that I ever did here. All right, this deal I started in my first deal in 2014, right here. This is right off. Oh, it's 2013. I'm sorry, right off of Zillow. 150,000. I got that first deal from door knocking. Totally broke. That left my beat up car at the end of the street, walked up and down the street to talk to as many property owners as I could, and found an opportunity. Now, at that time, I was a full-time real estate agent. So if you're doing this business and a lot of people are entering this business and they already have a lot of other responsibilities, they have other things that they're doing, they have full-time jobs, it takes a while. This process takes a while. But if you keep staying focused on what your goal outcome is, if you keep staying focused and think of this business as your true full-time obligation, right? Your full true time passion, and what you're doing right now is just a placeholder, you will be successful. All right, here's a picture of me. This is one of my first prospecting right there, August 2015, right? This is when I was taught that you need to have a mirror in front of you so that you can stand up, you can smile. I've got a button-up shirt. I was being a full-time real estate agent. I was doing both things, right? I was doing real estate agent things, and I was doing wholesaling. And it took me a while. There's me prospecting with a suit on in the office every single day. I will tell you, I do not miss going to the dry cleaners every single week. I'll tell you that. But just making the calls. It didn't seem like it was really building traction in my wholesaling business. And maybe you've been there, but it's progress, not perfection. It's the name of the show. And I kept chipping away at it. And right around that August 2015 is when I started listening to the Wholesaling Inc. podcast. And then it took me a few months, and I joined Wholesaling Inc. in the early part of 2016. And then from there, I was just like, you know what? I'm going to go absolutely bananas, right? There's my home office. I started making calls from home. That you could see right there, that brown box. That was my CRM. That was my accordion binder. That was my CRM where I kept all of my leads for the first $1 million that I've made in the wholesaling business. And I just was making calls after calls after calls. And then finally, November 1st, 2016. Remember, I did my first deal in 2013. November 1st, 2016, that was my first 6-figure month. And it changed everything. After that, I was full-time wholesaling. I was going full-time. I was so laser focused. And when I became laser focused, all I did was go absolutely bananas with reaching out and making contacts. Here is a contact tracker that I put together. Okay, this is December of that same year of 2016. I went this one right here. I pushed myself to make 75 contacts. That's 75 conversations with the actual property owners. Okay, and then I really pushed myself to go 100 contacts. 2 days later, I went 100 contacts just to go and build up my pipeline of opportunities. I went all day. I did nothing else but prospect all day long. This whole week, I was just taking pictures and just keeping myself pumped up, and found so many opportunities that I'll show you right here in 2017, February 2017. Down at the bottom, you can see it, $185,000 that month. $40,000 the following March, and then it just kept building and building and building and building. With a marketing budget, I remember writing this. There's my marketing budget for skip tracing, for the Mojo Dialer, for one phone prospector. All the things were under $8,400. I knew that if I made that money, I wanted to keep that money. Because if I could keep that money, I could grow the business. And that's why we always want to be profitable. We always want to make sure that we're not giving the money, the earnings, the income that we had coming in back to marketing, back to other expenses. You want to take that money home so that you can make a dramatic difference in your life. All right? So, with all that being said, the reason I brought that all up is, one, to just give you some perspective on it takes a while. It takes a while to really build the momentum. And I was focused. I was really, really, really focused. And sometimes it just takes a while for this business to take hold. But if you stay consistent and you stay focused on ugly houses and big checks for 12 months, you're going to see a dramatic difference. 24 months, it's going to be bananas. 36 months, and now you're off and running. I say that if you stay consistent with this business, you'll have $1 million net worth within 7 years. And people go, 7 years? I can't do that. I'm 22 years old. I have to be a millionaire before I'm 25. Everybody on Instagram is. Like net bottom line, after taxes, real business. We're talking real numbers here, real business. After taxes, after expenses, after everything, to be able to build up a net worth from your own efforts. I'm not talking about your investments. I'm not talking about your assets climbing. I'm talking about real money that you have taken home, over $1 million. And then from there, you just keep doing it because you've built this foundation. But you got to look at this business in you obviously break it down every single day, what the actions you're going to take, but you got to make sure that you understand this is a 5 to 7 year business plan. This is a plan to dramatically change everything within your family, within your sphere, within your community, that you become the magnet that is consistent and has a really strong foundation. So if you're going through this and it's your first week, it's your second week, it's your 30 days, it's your 90 days, it's your first 6 months, and you're like, I haven't replaced my job yet, I haven't done all these things. Neither did I. And now I have a business that does over $1 million a year, and I work 4 to 5 hours in it every single week. Okay? So there is an incredible opportunity in this business, and every single person watching this can build it. But you got to make the contacts. Right? And you got to be consistent. And so what we've seen is we've seen the contact rate go down over time because the carriers are getting smarter and they're blocking a lot of this. So I wanted to, the real instruction for this show is to show you the 5 ways that you can get that 7 to 10% contact rate if you're making calls with a dialer, which you should be, because I mean, it's the difference between walking down the street and being in a rocket, right? So let's break down these 5 steps, and I want you to start implementing them into your business today. And then we're going to crack this show wide open. It's going to be absolutely phenomenal. We've got Mike Mahoney back. We've got Rafael Cortez ready to go. They're pumped. They're excited. It's going to be an absolute incredible show. So number 1 is this, okay? Number 1 is you need to have more than one list, okay? If you're not making enough contacts with one list, switch it up. 1, it's going to give you more energy. It's just going to feel fresher. It's going to feel newer. You're going to go in. Maybe you're calling your Driving for Dollars list. Now you call your Tired Landlords list. Maybe you're calling the Tired Landlord list and you want to call the code violations or the people that have judgments, right? All of these things you can pull. It's really easy in batch leads, but just switch this out, right? Switch out your list all the time to keep it fresh, okay? If you're feeling like you're not making enough contacts, switch your list. Number 2, here we go. Number 2 is switch your phone numbers every 150 dials if possible, all right? Every 150 dials, switch out your number, right? Have a rotating amount. Now, does this cost money? Yes. We use Call Rail for our numbers. Call Rail is phenomenal at providing us those phone numbers, and we just switch it out every hour, about every hour, or 150 contacts, okay? Number 3 is this. To stop your number from being flagged, lengthen your calls as much as you can. That can include leaving a voicemail. What the carriers pick up on is the length of the call. If the length of the call is constantly short, and it's not connecting a lot, they're going to look at that. Their AI is going to look at it, and they're going to start blocking those, or at least marking them as spam likely, because they see that that number's making a lot of calls and it's picking him up, right? So to lengthen that, I mean, you need to lengthen your calls. So if you're having a conversation, try to keep them on a little bit longer, especially with a new number. Leave a voicemail, have a good conversation. Now, I'm not saying get sucked in like quicksand to like a 15-minute conversation with somebody that's never going to do business with you, but I am saying lengthen that time a little bit. Leave a few voicemails here and there to really build the strength of the number so it doesn't show up as spam likely or potential spam. All right? Number 4 is when you get a new number, start single dialing it to lengthen the longevity of that number to work up to a triple line. Remember, if you're just calling with one line, you're not making as many calls, which means that just think of your number as like getting stronger. It's getting buffer. It's putting on more muscle the longer that you keep these calls going. So if you start with just a single line dialer, it's not going to be making as many calls, and you're going to be connecting with a good amount of people. Not as many as a triple line. I mean, that's obvious, but it's going to help to strengthen that number, and they're not going to just block it right away because you're making a tremendous amount. By the way, guys, your VAs that you've hired that are just blowing and going, they're all coming up as spam likely. All of them. I'm telling you, if you're not implementing these and you're getting low contacts and all of a sudden your VAs aren't getting you the leads that they used to, this is why. And you should be making the calls yourself.
Okay, so Brent, number 4, I got a question. So extending the time, so we're going to season our phone number on a single dialer, right? So what does that mean? Like how long, how many calls, how do we season
100
that?
calls.
Okay, so 100 calls on one number on a single dialer to season it before you go triple line.
Right.
Cool. Okay.
Yep.
And on number 2, as far as the length of the call, are you talking 2 minutes, 3 minutes?
It could be 30 seconds. It could be 45 seconds. It could be a minute. You know what I mean? They're looking for things that are under that 5 to 10 seconds, right? They're looking for instant, getting rid, right? Or stopping that call. So build that up. I mean, the longer you can go, the better.
And I just want to confirm, so CallRail, is that a tool you use to get numbers for your Mojo dialer? So you're swapping out those numbers. If people are using a smartphone, that's not what you're talking about. You're using a dialer, get your numbers from CallRail, swap them out every 150 to 300 calls.
Yes.
Got it, okay.
And Batch is working on their stuff. Obviously, you know, they've had some issues in the past, but they've got something that cleans up the numbers and gives you a caller ID as well. If you're using Batch Dialer. But we use Mojo. It's just a lot simpler. It's a lot easier. The learning curve is a lot smaller. So I promote it to people that are just getting started. If you want to get more robust and have a whole hour, you know, conversation with with Batch and their dialer, and really set up all the different things, all the different settings that you can set up, that's great. But if you just want to go and get going, Mojo's the one to do. Yeah, and then we put it into, we put our call rail number as the caller ID, and you just put them in there. You stack like 5 or 10 of them, and then every hour you switch them.
And that's a local number, right?
Yes, local number.
Yeah, you want to show up as local. Okay.
Yeah, and I love this one. This one is really smart. I like this one. Google and test your number. Call your friends that have different cell phone plans.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like, I'm Verizon, you're T-Mobile, you're Sprint. I'm going to put us all in there and call and see if it pops up as potential spam or if it's coming up with a name. Now, obviously, you can register your phone number. If you register your phone number, it's easier for them to pull the thread and ask what you're doing, and it's just a conversation that you're having, that you're reaching out to property owners, which is fine. They're easier to grab you and have a conversation if you register your number. And a lot of people register them.
Who would you register with, and then do you register every new number that you're swapping out?
Yeah, you just Google it. Yeah, we don't register ours.
Okay.
Yeah. We have too many numbers. Once the numbers start slowing down, we just buy new numbers.
Awesome.
Yep.
It becomes a lot of work after a while.
Yeah, it does. So those are the 5 steps, guys. So that should increase your contact rate. Remember, we're shooting for a 7 to 10%. You can't get opportunities if you're not having quality conversations with the distressed property owners. So make sure that you are implementing these 5 steps and watch your contact rate dramatically increase. We've had a phenomenal contact rate with our callers. They're calling, we use callmotivatedsellers.com. They provide us with all of our phone prospectors. They're absolute savages. They're absolutely incredible. They're the best of the best, 22 to 25 bucks an hour. They hate when I quote that, but like, just for expectation wise, these aren't the $3 to $5 an hour VAs. And I would just say this, depending on your market, you could test it. But most markets, if you're using a $3 to $5 an hour phone prospector, you are throwing away all of your profits.
It's funny, I was listening to a call you had with a student yesterday, Brent, where they were like, well, should I get 8 to 10,
Yep.
$3 an hour VAs, or 1 or 2, call motivated seller VAs, and you were all for the quality over quantity?
Well, yeah, because I mean, you don't see the hidden costs. The hidden costs are the skip tracing costs.
Yep.
And then what people do is they go, oh, okay, well, then I'll just go find a really cheap skip tracer. I see all these ads on Instagram and Facebook for 3 to 5 cent skip tracing. It's garbage. It's garbage. It's garbage phone numbers for the most part. I mean, you could get lucky, but if you really want to set yourself apart and have the most quality conversations with the actual ugliest properties in your marketplace, you got to pay for the data. Truly, you got to pay for the data, and you got to pay for quality. And for the most part, if you're not making 30 grand, if you haven't made 30 grand 3 straight months, I had this conversation at 7 a.m. this morning with a student. 30 grand 3 straight months before you hire anybody. I mean, that's Sean Terry's rule for, I don't know, 20 years he's been saying that?
100 years.
Yeah.
Hey, Brent, so
years.
also number 1, you're talking about like cheap data, don't skimp. Going
Right.
back to point number 1, switching out your lists. Where you get your lists matters.
Yes.
Right? So driving for dollars, high quality list, right? Getting your list from batch leads, high quality list.
Yep.
If you're just getting cheap lists from, Joe's Garage List Shop,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
Getting that 7 to 10% contact rate going to be no good. Then if you get, bad skip tracing, it just starts to add up. I mean, you'll never get there.
Well, and it's not even I mean, you can get fortunate sometimes. The frustration starts bleeding in. You start getting frustrated. When you get frustrated, you get distracted, and that's one of the 3 Ds.
Contact's
right?
the name of the game too,
Yeah.
right?
Doubt, distraction, and disappointment come in when you're not making the contacts that you want and getting the results that you want.
Yeah,
time.
one
Yep.
thing to always look at too is just the hit rate and the match rate. It's 2 different things when you're pulling lists. All you got to do is compare lists and and the effectiveness of it. How many hits are you getting back, and then how many of those are actually matches? You're gonna see like a huge discrepancy right there in percentages. So.
You guys are crushing today. I like this.
We're not messing
Look
around
at this,
today.
guys. Give
We're not
them
messing
some
around
likes.
today.
If you guys are
It's the
getting
hat.
value out of this, obviously, if you've not subscribed, make sure that you hit that subscribe button. If we're getting you closer to your goals, hit that subscribe button and hit that like button. Alejandro will send out a package of our TTP swag to somebody out there, and it's awesome stuff. Lead tracker, contact tracker, shirts, hats, the whole thing. Love to send it out. So hit that like button. And what that does is it helps expose us to the YouTube algorithm, and we all win. So this show's about three things, right? It's about, number one, squatting up in the comments section. Make sure that you're putting in the comments section where you live or where you do business, right? So that you can squat up with other people in that area to connect with, to JV with, to help sell your deals or to help comp your deals or whatever it is. Make sure that you squat up in the comments, right? We answer the questions, and my favorite, we ring the victory bell for any success that you've had, any action that you've taken, whether they be small wins, big wins, whatever it is. Obviously, we love when you tell us that you've closed a deal or that you've just locked up a deal. That is the best, and then we celebrate all the wins. We got our first one. Aja Rochelle, I got a land deal at the title company in Houston. We closed 10-12. Let's go. Congratulations.
Hey, by the way, also, and this is the thing. So Rafa's got the guitar now for celebration.
Yep.
And I don't know if you can see this, but I just ordered a tambourine.
All right.
So next week, I mean,
it's going to be bananas.
He's gonna be playing.
Nobody's going to celebrate you more than we do on this show.
Somebody's
Watch-
gonna play the tambourine.
Yeah,
down.
watch out, ladies.
Oh yeah.
Congratulations. Would love to know how much you're making. I'm doing 10 a day now on 12 of my 90-day blitz, looking to get to 20 a day. Kevin, congratulations. That is absolute progress. Progress. And I assume that you're talking about you are doing 10 contacts a day. That is absolutely phenomenal. I'm going to ring that. Here we go. I love it. Congratulations. Keep going. I'm telling you, 20 a day. You really want to like be exhausted at the end of the day and find every time I've done the 100 contact challenge, and this is back, I mean, we were taught this, Mike and I were taught as real estate agents to do this once a month to really boost your income. Every time I've done it, I've got a massive deal. Every time. 100 contact challenge. It is exhausting, but then you kind of get, it's almost like running long distance. The first like couple miles are just like, oh my God, it's awful. And then all of a sudden you kind of get that runner high, and you get into the zone, you get that phone prospecting high, and you really make a huge impact. So
Hey, Brent, real quick. So talking about contact rate and the 100 contract challenge. So we get this all the time. What is a contact? What
Yes.
counts as a contact?
Contact is speaking to the actual property owner that you're trying to get a hold of.
Okay.
And listen, I let it slide a little bit if you call, it's a relative, it's the tenant, it's somebody, whatever, and you ask them if they have any real estate that they're looking to sell, whether it be a piece of land or whatever else. Do you have any other properties? Do you have any properties? We're looking in the area. It's asking the question. It's that first step into building the relationship with any property owners, is just seeing if they have any interest or any timeline to sell that property. Yeah.
That's so underrated, man. Like I think a lot of people forget about asking that one question. I can't tell you how many deals we've gotten just because of that.
Yep.
Hey, do you know anybody who might have a property they want to sell? They want to talk about a sale on.
Yep.
Or do you have anything else that you might be interested in getting, rid
Yeah.
of, or getting cash offer on?
It's huge.
Always drop it, yeah.
And land. I mean, I'm telling you, people are doing a tremendous amount of land deals. You guys should watch Brent Bauer's YouTube channel. It's absolutely incredible. He is the best at at coaching and doing land deals, in my opinion. Brent Bowers. He's part of Wholesaling Inc.
Great guy.
Fortunately, Matt
Great guy too.
joined a wholesale company and closed a $70K deal in Jacksonville, looking to eventually branch out and begin my own business. It's great. Have the apprenticeship. Apprenticeship is like a lost art. It's so incredible. You get to really understand the whole process, and then you get to, on the side, do your own deals. I mean, maybe you have a non-compete that you sign, but for the most part, a lot of companies don't require that. And so you're learning it, you're doing it, you're going through, you see the income coming in. It's real. It's not just faith that you're living off of. It's fact. Congratulations. Matt, come on.
quicker with that guitar, man. You're too fast on that bell.
You get some quick
You're too
riffs.
fast on that bell.
Come on, it's good. It's good. We'll get a rhythm. I got a land deal talking to a seller in Ohio and referred it in Manhattan, New York, $1.5 million. Come on, Facebook user.
There you go.
Little flare, little flash there. Awesome. Congratulations. Would love to know your name. I don't know if it just pulls that way because you're in the Facebook group or whatever, but Rochelle? All right. Congratulations, Rochelle. Get it sold. Huh? Vishal. Oh, awesome. Yeah. That's
All right, Vishal.
He's in the Rhino tribe. Awesome.
Nice.
Great job. Got a 60. Look at this. I mean, we might as well just start jamming
Yeah.
at this point, Raphael.
It's gotta
got a
be my
16K
cat.
assignment closing in Houston this Friday. Come on. Love it. Congratulations. Yeah, $16,000 in Houston. I mean, that's a nice deal. That's a Houston. We have I think we have a lot of people on the show that are in Houston that are doing amazing things. So make sure that you're squadding up. That was another Rhino tribe? Awesome. Alonzo, I need all the info I can get. I'm in Columbus, Ohio, and don't know where to start. I already have my LLC. I think I just need leads and how to go about doing it. Please, really need help. Thanks. Alonzo, listen. Cut out everything else, okay? For the next 12 months, focus on ugly houses, big checks. All right, ugly houses, big checks. This isn't the time to add to your rental portfolio. This isn't the time to do fix and flips. This isn't the time to go and lend money. This is the time that you build your pipeline of opportunities. By the way, for everybody out there, I want you to do all of those things. I want you to have 1,000 doors. I want you to develop properties, be the bank. I want you to fix and flip and develop and do whatever you want to do, right? But if you're just getting into this business, you need to learn how to source discounted properties. You need to source opportunities. And the best way to do that is go out there and just simply, Alonzo, go out there. I would either, just depending on your budget, I would get dealmachine.com, okay, and I would drive for dollars. I would find the ugliest properties that you can, okay? Or if you have a little bit more budget, I would get batch leads, and it's all right there built in. And skip trace those phone numbers. Either way, if you use Deal Machine or batch leads, make sure that you skip trace your numbers through batch skip tracing and or batch leads. But batch leads is really making a push to provide everything. But you go out there and you just find an ugly house, you click a button, boom, you're adding it to your database, and then you're just reaching out to them. Right? You just call them up. If you don't know what to say to them, go to TTP Insider. This is all free. TTP Insider, go in there and download the script, right? The cold calling script, and then you just follow that script. So you got an ugly house, you got an accurate phone number, and then you call. And that's how you get started, Alonzo. And you build momentum and build momentum and build momentum. And really, you have to make sure that you start putting together your minimum standards for how many people you want to talk to on a daily basis. And I highly suggest you start, if you've never done it before, just do one. You could literally go on Zillow right now, go to For Sale by Owners, call that For Sale by Owner, see if it's still available, see if they have offers, and then start negotiating and start building up your experience. But I want you to get off-market properties that are ugly, that you can reach out to them and start having those conversations.
Hey, Brent, let me throw this out there real quick. We're in the middle of a cool down. There's about to be a cool down more, I guess, on the retail space, right?
Yes.
So when it comes to leads, if they haven't poured in, they are about to. We increased 14 basis points since last week when it came to rates. Mm-hmm. So the average national rate is 6.3 right now.
Right.
I mean, what does that do? Right?
Yeah.
Dequalifies a bunch of people who are trying to buy retail. So the people who have properties out there in the market, they're getting more antsy. The people who are about to put properties in the market, they get more antsy, and they're way more open to conversations.
Right.
So when it comes to lead generation, if you've been rejected, that's nature of the business, right? But just know that over the next few weeks and months, a lot more people are going to be a lot more open and having conversations for cash offers, right? So do not be demoralized.
Yep.
Keep pressing, keep pushing on that gas because it's bound to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah. So keep that in mind.
Love it. There you go, Alonzo. Brent, how do we comp hotels, motels? You talk to a commercial broker in your area that knows them, and they probably know the owner of them because commercial brokers, for the first 3 to 5 years, all they do is cold call. Minimum 200 hand dials a day. Minimum 200. Talking to all the property owners. As soon as I closed on this building that we're in, I started getting calls from commercial brokers, like literally like 3 days after I closed, just to start building that relationship. So one, see if they've already got some relationships with commercial brokers, because that'll affect whether or not they're going to accept your offer, or if they've already been offered by other buyers that those commercial brokers have. And two, if those commercial brokers will work with you and you've got a good relationship with that owner, they'll bring you buyers. So that's how you work with hotels and motels. Find people that do hotels and motels in those areas and specialize it, because it is a commercial and is based off of the income that those make, is the value of those properties, or potential income that they make is the value of those properties. So I love it. Gerard, squatting up is just connecting, right? It's building your personal board of directors. Right? If you look at yourself as Gerard Inc., right? You're a business. You're not a businessman, you're a businessman, right? The whole Jay-Z thing. So start building your board of directors. Start building your people that are in there that are going to really help you out. Number one, find somebody in title and escrow that does these deals, that is going to walk you through and make sure that it gets closed and get past the finish line. You're going to feel a lot more confident. Number two, find somebody that's already a few steps ahead of you and that can help you with coming up with the value of these properties, or what you should offer. Because the toughest part when we're getting started is deal or no deal. And then the second toughest part is, how big of a deal is this? Right? The third one, you got to start talking to your cash buyers. You got to start reaching out to the people that you see are doing flips in your area, the real estate agents on Zillow that are listing these flips, that you talk to these people and see what are the price points that the investors are buying these properties. We have an incredible cash buyer pack in TTP Insider. You can download that and get your top 100 buyers in your market as like really fast. Okay, so make sure that you implement that right away. Number four is you need to find somebody that is your financial backer, right? Somebody that has the funds. If you go out there and tell property owners that you are a cash buyer, but you don't have the ability to close that deal, you're not going to go with confidence, and two, you're lying. Don't lie. Have somebody that'll come up with at least the 10 to 20% that'll be required for a hard money lender to lend on anything. Hard money lenders lend on the properties, not on you. So there's no qualifications there. And I know I'm going over a bunch of stuff, so Mike, if you want to help filter this out, if there's any questions that, maybe is a little bit more advanced, but you find that financial backer that you go to, that you connect with in your market or wherever, that says, hey, listen, if I find an unbelievably discounted property, would you partner with me and be my financial backer, and I'll handle all the rest? Now you have the option to close on every deal, or you can wholesale it. We wholesale 90% of them, right? But we know that we can close on all of them, and that gives us confidence that we are an actual cash buyer. So that's squatting up in a nutshell.
The only thing I'd say is just because transactional lenders and hard money kind of scares people.
Yep.
I mean, when we were young guys,
Yep.
right, we had a buddy, his grandpa had some money sitting around, right? And he would make more putting 20% up for us to get properties, to take down properties,
Yep.
than just having it sit in a savings account or wherever it was, right?
Yep.
So it could be family, it could be friends that help you, come up with that 10 or 20% to get the transactional lending if you need it.
How do you raise money, Raf?
Same way. I go after private money. So I do have people that I reach out to. I actually have two people who I reach out to on a regular basis whenever something like that comes around, because we've done a bunch of deals in the past. They
Yep.
already have the trust in there. So they're like, good, let's roll.
By the way, once you have that relationship, like what kind of a deal do you get now?
Yeah, incredible deals.
Right.
Yeah. I mean,
$1,000
at this point,
100%?
at this point, the hard money lenders will fund 100% for $1,000.
Yeah, so once you have that relationship,
us.
right?
Yeah.
I just want to mention the thing about squatting up that I think kind of gets overlooked is the more you connect, right? The more you connect with people, right? The harder it is for you to disconnect and, just basically throw in the towel.
Right. Yeah.
Crazy thing is that you start turning money away at one point.
Yeah.
Yeah. Listen, I
Love
can't
it. So
move
there
that
you
right
go.
now.
That is squatting up. It's connecting with people that are in this business. And the fact is, most people that you're going to talk to in your life, friends, family, loved ones, you're going to tell them how excited you are about being a real estate entrepreneur and wholesaling real estate. And they're going to look at you with like glazed over eyes. They're going to have no idea what you're talking about. So it's important to be around people that are doing this business. Because you become the people that you surround yourself with. You know, you become what you think about. And if you're around people that are thinking about the same things, you're going to become that.
So real
Little
simple then,
meetups.
basically, you need an escrow officer.
Yep.
You need a mentor.
Yep.
Right? That's
Yep.
doing deals. And you need a transactional lender.
Yep.
And that's kind of the core folks that you need to squat up with.
And then your cash buyers.
Yep.
Claudio, great to see you, buddy. Brent, how should we be approaching our pipeline now that interest rate hikes is in on the horizon? I will show you right here. Okay, so real quick comps. If you are on Zillow, okay, you're on Zillow, and you see what their estimate is, you want to be 50% if it's above 250,000. If the estimate is 150,000, I mean 250,000, you want to be 35% if it is between 100 and 250, and then you want to be at 10% if you. I'm sorry, this is 30% at under 100K.
So if the Zestimate was 250K
Yeah.
on Zillow for Banana Street, you would offer 125.
Yep.
Got it. Okay.
Yep. Yep. So it's just adjusting it, because what happens is the purchasing power, we live in a payment society. So when interest rates go up, it goes, you don't get as much house for the price. So then prices start coming down, right? And this is what scares a lot of fix and flippers. To give you a perspective, Jeremy was telling me, my disposition manager, we have something called Buyer Sonar. It's with Audantic. It comes with Audantic, and Audantic is data scientists, right, out of Washington, and they look at how many cash purchases were purchased for flips. Our average was about 4,500 a month. It's down to 1,000. It's down to 1,000 a month.
Makes sense, yeah.
Right.
Makes perfect
Because people are tightening up. They're making sure that a lot of the sellers aren't really there at the threshold. So you really have to negotiate and get real solid deals.
We're not data scientists.
I think it is 35%. Right, Mike? 35%. Yeah. Let me get rid of that. There you go. 35. Ooh.
It's not on the screen.
There you go. 50%, 35, and 10. There you go. Ryan Stevens, second week doing this, making 20 cold calls a day. Got a lead.
right.
I'm calling back today to make an offer on. Fingers crossed. Congratulations. Here we go. Ryan, here's the deal. Make sure whenever you're presenting an offer, you need to be likable and you need to be certain. Certainty and likability are the key. The two words that I want, like, in your brain floating around as you're presenting your offer, right? Don't be a jerk about it, right? But also you need to be certain. You need to have that confidence. You need to have a tall posture when you make these offers, okay? I don't want to hear these offers. Well, I know that you want 150, but just looking at the numbers and I can only offer you 65, right? Like, just go with it. Based on what's going on in the neighborhood and what your neighbors are selling for in similar condition and in similar size, I can offer you $65,000. Is that something that you would consider? Right? Scott Jenkins.
And something, Brent, you talk about a lot, which I like, is for these guys and gals, truly motivated sellers, it's not as much about price. It's if they like you and trust that you can help them get the deal done and solve their problem.
Right.
So you have to be a master salesperson to get these things done.
Listen, and Matt, when you get a second, I know it might not be pulled up in the queue, but if you could do the price, speed, and convenience graphic, I think that'll really help out as well. Scott Jenkins is absolutely destroying it out there, closing 3 deals this month, $69,500. 2 deals under contract yesterday. TTP, baby. You know it. Here you go, Scott. There's more success. Oh, Chris, here we go. Love the education you bring. Just looked up a deal with a TTP student this week in South Jersey. Squatting up is real. Congratulations, Chris. Thank you for all of your participation in the social media groups. You're absolutely incredible, and it's the truth. Listen, squat up. Everybody wins. There's plenty of deals for everybody. Here we go. The only thing I don't like about that post is education. Get rid of education. Education comes from the action, and the results that we get is education. What we give you here, Chris, is instruction, baby.
Whoa.
Instruction. I know what you meant. But always look, I always remember, whenever you're looking at anything, whenever you're seeing people on stage speaking at a seminar, whenever you're listening to a podcast, YouTube video, you got to look at, okay, is this entertainment, education, or instruction? If you focus on instruction, the actual action items to go out and implement in your business, it goes way faster, and it keeps you out of the education loop, right? So here we go. Ms. Larmore? I am so sorry. Yeah, anyway, closing a deal tomorrow, $2,400. Calls it money, baby. Yeah, either way, I'll take it. $2,400 for Ms. Lara.
Ms. Larimore.
Ms. Larimore. Here we go. Congratulations. Griffin locked up another deal. I think this is going to break the record for amount of celebrations. Locked up a deal for $225,000. It's now listed on the market for $280K. Open house went great. Looking to close soon. Here we go. Griffin. Bro, we're in 40 minutes, and I talked for the first 22 of them, and we've had 10 celebrations. Guys, do you know how incredibly powerful you guys are? Do you know how incredible you are out there taking action and really making a difference? Guys, these celebrations are to encourage and to inspire and to let you know that this is absolutely real. Look at this. Enzo got his real estate license
We're
today.
done messing around.
Congratulations. I think that's great. People ask us that question all the time. Do I think you should get a real estate license in this business? I do. I think at some point it's really smart to do because it makes it a lot easier to open up the doors with other real estate agents and get other deals. Do you need it? No. In some states you do. It does require it to wholesale. You can certainly flip or do double closes or double escrows if the title and the closing attorneys in those states will do it. But I think it's just I think it's a nice. I think it's really smart to have. I think it rounds out some of the mystery about real estate and real estate agents, and it makes you understand that they're just regular people that pass the test. Blake, I have 2 deals under contract. My first 2, I could make $10K to $30K on one, around $6K on the other. Thank you, TTP. You guys have been extremely helpful. I even submitted my properties for your JV. Blake, congratulations. Let's make $30K instead of the $10K, and let's make it a clean $36,000 for the month. I like that. Here we go. Awesome.
I'm not putting this thing away.
No, you better not.
No.
Here we go. Okay. Sherylina. Hi, Brent. What are good questions to ask owners that are pre-foreclosure? Also, good voicemail to leave them. Great question. With the pre-foreclosures, listen, you can do a lot of the heavy lifting through a lot of the through batch leads and really understand when is their auction date. So typically whenever you get a pre-foreclosure list, you're going to know when that auction date is because that's how you filter it. You want to get them as soon as you can so that you have enough time to build a relationship with them. But if you get them, a few days before, you're going to really have to put on your sprinting shoes and get that deal postponed. And if you have any questions about that, I highly recommend you watch the Wholesale Hotline replay from Monday with Laura Morby talking about how to get that foreclosure, the foreclosure date postponed. But the conversation, you want to know, first, you want to know what they're doing about it. What help are they getting? What are their plans? What's happening? They're all going to tell you that they're taking care of it. They're all going to tell you that they're working with the bank, and 90% do. 90% go, and statistically, you can Google it, 90% get a loan modification. The banks do not want to foreclose. They don't want to go through the process. They don't want the cost. They're going to tack on all of that stuff to the back end of the loan. So if, let's say you're behind on your payments, or the person you're talking to is behind on their payments, with all the fees and all the attorney extra costs, like $15,000, and they owe $100,000. Well, the bank will put the loan now, it'll be a $115,000 loan. If their payment was $1,200 or $800 a month, but they can only afford $400, great. They'll put $400 as the payment, but that extra $400 will be tacked every month to the back of the loan. This is how loan modifications work. Okay, so at some point, if they fall back into the situation where they just can't afford this home, that's when you're having really good conversations. And it's the same thing: condition, timeline, motivation, price. Condition, timeline, motivation, price. What is the condition of this property? What's their? You got to let them know what their timeline should be, because this has an end date. Their motivation obviously is they can't afford this, and then you have to work on their price. Does this property have equity? You want to make sure that what they owe is less than what you're willing to offer. Okay? If not, then you have to get creative. Then you have to do something like a sub-2, or refer them over to a short sale situation. There's some other creative financing things that you can do, but I don't want to get too confusing in here. I have that graphic. Oh yeah, put that up real quick.
Love this.
Remember this, guys. In this market, the sellers only get two. If they want speed and convenience, they don't get price. Okay? If they want the convenience of not having to do much and they want a good price, it's called a novation. All right? And we can break all those down on another show with Todd Toback. He's a master, the master. And then if they want speed and price, then you get creative. You put together a creative deal, or you list it on the MLS. Okay? Because listing it on the MLS and doing a creative deal is not necessarily convenient, because oftentimes they're still have debt on the property, or they're going to be involved in the property in some sort of seller financing. So it's not like they're just clean their hands, get a cash offer, and they're done with the property. Okay? Joe, can you be an agent and a wholesaler at the same time? If so, how do you program mindset? If not, why? Yeah, Joe, I did it for years. I did it for, if you missed the first 10, 12 minutes of the show, I was showing pictures of me as an agent making calls for wholesale deals. And it's a balance, right? You have to be able to find in your schedule. You need a time block when you're going to commit to this business. And if you're an agent right now, if you have loved ones that are agents right now and they don't know how to wholesale, you better help them learn. You better turn them on to this channel. I'm telling you, it is going to be an absolute bloodbath for real estate agents, because whenever a market's good, it triples the amount of licensed people. And then when the market goes bad, they all disappear and they have to start a new life and a new career, right? And it's very, very, very frustrating. They learn the skills to be able to find off-market properties and to wholesale them to cash buyers. They will survive, win, thrive, and build an incredible business. So program your mindset. You got to determine, do you want to do this full time, or do you want to be an agent? Which one do you want to be? Because if you try to do both, you're going to be mediocre at both. So focus.
One thing I see a lot with agents who want to transition into wholesaling is switching that mindset from the retail thought process to the wholesale offer.
Oh, yeah.
Like, okay, how do I talk to somebody about diving deep on that offer, and why would they sell to me if they can list? The reality is that they can't list. That's why, they're going to us. There's something going on, some type of frustration there that you have to tap into, right? You have to discover that. But it's really the mindset shift comes with that discovery conversation when you're finding out what the problem is.
Yep.
It becomes a natural thing and like a logical solution for yourself as well. So that mindset shift that you're looking for from that retail space to that wholesale offer really comes by discovering what the real problem is and then solving that.
Love it. Yep.
These folks value speed and convenience more than they value price.
Right.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
Yeah.
M.1, great to see you. Listen, it happens to everybody. End of 2021, after having success on a deal, I scaled too fast and hired 3 people. Now I'm back to a one-man band. Any advice, encouragement to keep pushing ahead? Yes. Standards. What are your standards that you are going to implement? And I have this ready, and I'm glad that you asked this question, because I think that this is something that really affects all of us. And it's something that I've really been investigating, going through Ed Milet's One More book. It's a fantastic book. If you haven't gotten that, get that right now, right? But oh, geez. I'm looking at our thing here. It's 7. This is going to be crazy. We got a lot of celebrations coming. Anyway, will you put it on the iPad here, Matt? Right here. For your goals, the foundation of all your goals are your standards. Your standards. And I would break it down, as real estate entrepreneurs, I would break it down right here into these 3 things. What are your standards for your energy? Are you at least at a 7 in energy every single day? 7. And listen, when you're going part-time and you've got a full-time job and you've got 3 or 4 kids and you've got a wife and you got a dog and you got a turtle and you've got all these other things going on, do you have enough energy for this business to get excited and to bring that through the phone, through your conversations, through the relationships that you build? Number 2 is communication. You want to absolute dominate in this business, communicate fast. And to communicate with a lot of kindness, a lot of certainty, and a lot of likability, right? You got to communicate. When people text you, text them back. When people call you, call them back. When people are reaching out, you're on it all the time. You are absolutely incredible at your level of communication. There's no off switch. There's not. Not when you're in hustle season. Not when you're in growth season. You want an off switch, get a job. Whoop. I'm not on my job. As an entrepreneur, our whole existence is to provide value to the community. That's why a lot of people don't think being an entrepreneur is awesome. That's why there's, so many businesses that try out but don't make it, because they want to do this whole balance thing. There's no balance. There's just harmony. There's just getting everybody on your squad to understand the standards that you have for the value you want to provide to the community, to your marketplace, to your area, to your neighborhoods. And the last one is what's your minimum standard for actions? How many people are you going to talk to a day? TTP, how many people are you going to talk to? Talk to people every single day. What's your minimum standard for the amount of people that you're going to talk to this week? If you're just starting out, make it one person, and then 5, and then 10, and then 20, and then 50. Nobody can come on here and say, well, if I can talk to 1,000 people, I still won't get a deal. That's never happened. Not real conversations. I've heard people have told me that they've had 1,000 conversations, and then I ask them to show me their reports, and there's no reports. It's just hyperbole. It's just exaggeration, right? So I'm just telling you, this business is not complicated. We are. And what are your standards that you're going to build? Your goals are all built off of your standards. The standards are the foundation of what your goals, the goals that you're going to achieve. So just think about it with your energy, with your communication, with your actions every single day. Boom! What do you think?
Quality conversations with distressed property owners.
That's it.
Right? It's simple, but that's it.
That's it.
I'm reading Ed Milet's book, and it dives deep into standards. I mean, it's absolutely the thing that's going to help you move forward, but it's also what sets your mind at ease on your performance.
Yep.
Like at the end of the day, if you have you feel like you had a shitty day, you look back at your standards. Okay, what did I tolerate today?
That's it.
Right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Awesome. We got a lot of celebrations coming up. Here we go. JK Adventures Full. I just hired REI Call Center, and they pulled from PropStream. What do you think? It comes with the lead manager and actual acquisition manager. I also got Deal Machine to drive $4. Yeah, I wouldn't go this route. Just personally, I want to put in the work. I want to build the skills myself. If you've already built the skills, great. If you have a successful business with at least 6 months reserves for this strategy, fantastic. Maybe they'll do a great job, maybe not. I don't know. But they're building their skills. You're not building yours. So you're leveraging their skills is going to prevent you from growing in this business.
What is the benchmark for how many?
1,000 conversations minimum. You need to talk to 1,000 property owners minimum before you even think about it. And I really think you make 30 grand 3 straight months before you hire anybody. And I get it. You obviously have a big budget, which is great, which means you're successful in other things, and you're a leader. You're going to go out there and you're going to be able to do this. You're going to be able to implement this. But just check their results. And if they're getting you results, fantastic. But I would watch how much money you're giving back each month and what you're actually netting. Because most people in that are successful make about 10 to 15% net on these deals. So I would, if you're going to do that, do it and. You've got them lead generating and you're doing it yourself. Okay? Marcellus, Brent, I need to start. And by the way, if your acquisition managers are living like way far away from your city, it's going to be a rough road. It's going to be a rough road.
You know what that kind of,
You
makes
need
me
incredible sales skills. The acquisition manager is your number one most critical hire ever, and they have to be closers. Experienced closers. I mean, we know. Yeah.
If you know what that makes me think of, like the financial advisor that never invests in their own advice.
Right.
Kind of like that, right? If they have the lead generation, if they have the closing and everything else in place, why are they not locking the deals where they would make 10 times as much? As
Right.
I don't know. It's just skepticism. It might work, again, but it's one of those things that just pushes me towards I'll build it myself, not myself, but the skill set and get proficient at it, and then figure out if it works. Right?
Scaling is sexy, right? And you can get there, but it's just don't rush it,
Yep.
right?
Yeah.
Yep, love it. Marcellus, thanks for jumping on here. We went over this, the first part of it, but let's review it again for everybody that just jumped off. Matt, let's go 1 through 5 here, and we'll just go through it quick. Number 1 right here. Nope, that's number 5.
Come on, Matt.
I don't
Good
know
job.
what.
But you got to do this too.
Number 1, have at least one other list of calls. So have multiple lists of calls to keep your energy fresh and to keep your list fresh and to make sure that you're going after good, fresh lists. Number 2, switch your phone number every 150 dials if possible. We use CallRail. We buy a bunch of numbers from them and we refresh it. Number 3. To stop it, get these calls going longer. You need longer talk time on these calls for the carriers to not just automatically label you as spam likely. Number 4, when you get a new number, start single dialing it to lengthen it so that you're not making as many calls, but that number is getting stronger and stronger and stronger. Number 5. Google and test your number. I love this one. This one's probably the most impactful, in my opinion. Call your friends that are in different carriers, Verizon, AT&T, Sprint, all of that, and see if it comes up as spam likely, right? And then the other thing that we didn't mention, because we talk about it all the time, but only go through a list twice. The first time through the list, you're going to have the most contacts.
Yeah.
Second time, you're going to have about 80% as much. But the third time, it drops off dramatically.
Also for Marsalis is this all makes sense if you're using Mojo 999 dialer.
Right.
So do that too.
Yeah, use a dialer. Matt Barry, I have appointments set for tomorrow on an inherited vacant property in Houston. Come on.
Those are the best.
There's some action. Before you go on that appointment, make sure that you get upfront agreements. When I come out there tomorrow to your property there in Houston, is there anything stopping us from moving forward if the price and terms are right, or what you want, right? If we can agree on price and terms tomorrow, is there anything stopping us from moving forward? It's a better sentence there. There you go. So use that. When I come out tomorrow and you feel comfortable and confident, right, you're planting the seed, you feel comfortable and confident with the offer that I give you, is there anything stopping us from getting the agreement signed and opening up escrow? You want to get all of their objections before you go out there so that you can prepare for them and you just don't go in there blindly and then you're standing there and nothing happens. The point of the whole goal of the appointment is to get the contract signed, okay? Now, if you're just building relationship, rapport, whatever else, and they're not really good on the phone, I understand. But for the most part, if you've already pre-qualified them, and don't go on those appointments unless you've gone through the 4 pillars. Matt, do you have that? The 4 pillars? Here we go. Make sure that you have the 4 pillars of pre-qualifying every single seller every time. Property condition, right? How much work does it need? Number 2, timeline. When do they want their money? Number 3, why are they selling? What is their problem? Number 4 is how much do they want, right? Pre-qualify them. The more of those that you have, the more success that you're going to have on those appointments, and you're not just spinning your wheels. And I spun my wheels a lot. I would go on, if anybody was nice to me, I'd set an appointment. Seriously, anybody. I wouldn't pre-qualify. I would just be like, yeah, awesome. I'm going to be in the neighborhood tomorrow at 2. Can I stop by? And then I go on these appointments, and it would distract me from actually getting qualified appointments, and I would find out that they didn't really want to sell. They just wanted me to like value their house, or they were just old and didn't have a lot of people to talk to, and they just wanted to chat my face off for like 2 hours. You know what I mean? It happens all the time. We get excited. We run out to this appointment. I got an appointment. Matt, I know that's not you. I know you're crushing, but for anybody that's newer, make sure that you pre-qualify and you get those upfront agreements, advanced agreements before you go out.
And Brent, I think you've said just for everybody else, and we're talking distressed properties, right?
Yep.
Ugly houses, right?
Yep.
Minimum to go on an appointment, they got to have motivation, and
Yep.
they got to have equity.
Yep.
That's minimum.
Yep.
Right?
Yep. I mean, unless you want to do something creative, which is interesting, but they have to want to sell.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There has to be some motivation to not own and be responsible for that property anymore. You know what time it is? It's the top of the hour. It's our favorite time. Well, actually, our favorite time celebrating, but it's our favorite time for audience participation here is which one would you rather own? We put 2 fancy houses up here, and you guys decide, is it number 1 or is it number 2? First one, we have this beauty right here.
I just got to say that I'm undefeated.
Look
so
at this
far.
thing. Raphael has been with the majority every single time. So we've got this beautiful property here.
I like
or this one. Ooh.
That's a tough one.
We got a couple different vibes here. We've got a North Carolina vibe and we've got a Colorado vibe. We're not going to tell you our choices yet, but we've got number 1 in the comment section. Put in number 1 or number 2. Not sure if Alejandro puts it as a.
Is that a fireplace in the middle of the driveway?
Fireplace in the driveway.
Whoa, holy moly.
That's
Insane.
That's good.
That's you hang out in the front and
Keep your cars warm.
meet
You know?
meet your neighbors. So let us know if it's number 1 or number 2. Always curious to see. I always think it's exciting looking at really beautiful properties, and I always did that, right? I always drove around to the really nice neighborhoods, and that always pumped me up whenever something happened. A
We
deal
did
fell
that 2
through,
weeks ago.
or a deal fell through, or maybe I had a conversation with somebody that really ripped into me, and I was new. I didn't have thick rhino skin yet. I just drive in really nice neighborhoods and just get inspired by it. And I was always like, what do people do to afford these things? And then you realize as you become an entrepreneur that you can build momentum if you stay focused and keep your money.
Dude, we did that 2 weeks ago. I'm
Yep.
still excited about the stuff that we saw.
There you go. Vincent. Everybody here, inspirational. I'm coming for my first deal in Las Vegas. Maybe you guys can have a mariachi band on payroll ready to celebrate. Ready when you are, brother.
Let's go, Chente.
We're here Wednesdays. We're not here next Wednesday, by the way. We're going to be in Tampa, all of us, at a mastermind. But the following Wednesday, we will be. But, yeah, we're here Wednesdays. So get that deal locked up, and we'll celebrate. We'll do the whole
We
thing.
got sort of that going on.
Yeah.
I got the band,
You got
whatever
the
that
tambourine?
thing is. I got
Yeah.
the kazoo coming in.
There you go. Jeffrey, got my first property under contract. Great part about it, it's a bulk of 3 properties, TTP all day. Here we go. Jeffrey, 3 words. Get it sold. Get it sold. Get them sold. Get them sold, right? It's great locking them up. Now get them sold. Jose, got my first deal locked up in Palm Springs, California after months of TTP looking for cash buyers. Now, Jose, 3 words. Get it sold. $15K. Jose, here we go. What you guys don't know about Rafael Cortez is he will literally find somewhere that has a guitar when you are out and about with him. Anywhere. It doesn't matter where he's at. He will get on stage anywhere, and he will just start singing and playing the guitar.
Can I tell a story here real quick?
Of course.
Some time ago,
Yep.
Brent moved into this real nice house, and what I did was I had a housewarming gift for him, which turned out to be a guitar. But what I was really doing was planting a guitar at your house.
Right.
So I could play it whenever I showed up.
I know.
Yeah.
I love
Happens
it.
every time.
I love it. It's
Everybody
one of my
does.
favorite parts. We get together on Fridays, have a tequila, have good conversation, and play the guitar. It's
Yeah.
wonderful. Primal. Reaching out to agent brokers mainly for off-market deals. Do we pay them a referral fee from our assignment fee, or is it a standard dual agency? Just depends on if they have a relationship with the seller. If they don't, I would suggest that they go in with, hey, I can list it for this, or I can get you a cash offer here. And then you split the deal with them. And I highly suggest you split it with them 50-50. You can play around with that percentage, but I think that if they feel that they're getting half of the deal, they're going to bring you way more deals, right? Not just because it's like probably the easiest transaction for them of the year or their month, but they feel like you're in partnership. And when you have a partnership type relationship, they think of you first. And they know that you have their best interest in mind and they have your best interest in mind. So, yeah.
Is he licensed?
I don't think Primal is licensed. Let us know if you're licensed.
Do you have to be licensed to give referral fees to agents?
No. Well, I think what he's saying is like referral fee, like from the assignment fee. I would split the assignment fee. I would have the title company give them a commission that goes to their broker through that.
Yeah.
You can't just give them. Most people get as wholesalers, we get the referral fee when we give deals to the agents. When agents bring us deals, it's like you split the assignment.
Got it.
And it goes to the broker.
Cool.
Yep. Alan, so you recommend off-market deals starting out. I'm on batch leads and Privy also. I have a call with the owner of Privy in 3 hours. I'm OTP West Atlanta, okay. Seems to be a lot of discounted deals on Privy in my area, looking for 30 to 40% ARV. Yes. Yeah. If it's listed, you need to be at 30 to 50% of the list price in Atlanta, for sure. It's the same as Phoenix. I had this conversation on a support call last night. We had a great deal. The ARV on this thing's 220,000, good area in Atlanta. The property's rough shape. It's listed at 125,000. My student got it under for 100,000 and can't sell it because it's listed for 125,000. And the reason for that is something that people don't really realize is once it hits the market, when appraisers look at that deal, when they're comping it, once it's fixed up, they go, well, it was listed on the market at this price. And so they have to then really dig in and justify why it now sells for 225, right? And then they go, oh, the repairs on this thing, they go in and the flipper has to justify, I made a ton of repairs. And then the appraiser literally can determine how much profit they make to make the bank comfortable with that deal. So if they do, but if it's off market, they just think that it's a private deal. They're not really sure what the story is. But when they put it on the market, there's a story. And the story affects values when you flip these properties. Talk to any flipper right now that's going through this. Now, it didn't affect us for the last probably 3 to 5 years because markets were going up. Appraisers could talk about it. Both interest rates rising, inflation rising. They are more scrutinized than ever with the banks, and they don't want to lose their jobs. They don't want to lose their businesses. They don't want to lose their license or get into some legal trouble by appraising things too high. So they're going to be very, very, very conservative with any on-market deals. And if it's on the market, unless you get it significantly lower, it's going to start. It's going to affect what that fix and flipper can sell it for. Now, if it's a buy and hold investor, it's a different story. That's fine. If you're in a cash flow market, it's different. But if you're in a flipping market like Atlanta, be real conscious of that. Yeah. Joe. When contacting title companies, what wordage do I use to ask if they are investor friendly? Well, number one here, post to social media, post to the Facebook investor groups. Ask who is the best escrow officer title company to work with. Then you just get a referral to that, or talk they're at all of the meetups, all of the like RIAs, Real Estate Investor Association. So you can literally Google whatever city you're in, REIA, RIA, and then go to that. They'll be at a table there. They'll sponsor it. They're going to be at those meetups, and then you go and have a conversation with them, build a relationship. They're going to be there. If you don't want to wait around for that posted to the group, find the best escrow officer, reach out to them, tell them that you're really excited. I'm really proactive. I'm going out there. I'm finding opportunities all the time. When I find these and I get these sold, can I bring them to you?
Getting a referral is the best.
It's key.
Getting a referral from another wholesaler.
Don't just start
right?
walking up to title companies and being like, hey, do you do wholesale deals? Half of them will be like, what?
For escrow
the other
company,
half will be like, no,
real estate
we would
attorney.
never do that.
Well,
you
what
gotta
hap-
get a referral.
A lot of people say yes, they do, even escrow officers, but they
don't.
just want the business.
Yeah.
That's the problem. They'll tell you they do,
Yeah.
but when it comes time to do the deal, it just goes crazy.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, is it number one
That's what I'm going for.
or
I am so
number
nervous.
two? Let's put up number one. There's number one.
He went number two.
Beautiful.
No, wait.
And number two,
Recapping.
Raph went number two. I like them both. I'm going to go with number one with Mike.
Yep.
And the winner is?
Rafa went two.
Number one.
Oh!
Winning streak. Undefeated streak over.
The title is ripped from my hands.
There you go. Wow. Okay, audience. I tricked you on this one. The last time I put like cabiny versus beachy, and everybody's like, "Oh, I love water. I love the water."
was the
This
fireplace.
time I got you.
It was the fireplace.
It was
in
the
driveway.
fireplace that did it. Yeah. How many people do we need to speak to build confidence? That's all individual. I have found that anybody that has spoke to had a good conversation or had any conversation with 1,000 property owners is very confident, because the first like 10 you're scared. The first 100 you're very apprehensive. You're kind of you're fumbling and mumbling and stumbling. You at 250 you're kind of getting into a rhythm. 500 you're like, what's the worst they can do? At 750 you're like, oh, now I'm there. And at 1,000 you're bulletproof.
It's nothing.
Right? You're rhino skin at that point. You know what I mean? Because you've talked to 1,000 strangers. Most people have never and will never speak to 1,000 strangers in their life. They just won't. Right? I mean, that's a lot of people to go and just introduce yourself to, right? And you're doing it in a short amount of time, and you're talking to them about real estate. So not only that, you're going to build really, really, really strong communication skills that's going to blend into the rest of your life, which is incredible. So 1,000, no. Vincent, can anyone verify how many contacts it takes to get one deal in Las Vegas? Brent says the average with this student it takes is 200 contacts. Yes, 200 contacts to get a deal in any market. I mean, it could be less in some markets for sure. But that is, if you're having these conversations and you're following the script and you're pre-qualifying and you're doing your lead follow-up and you're getting advanced agreements before you go on that appointment, you will get a deal. But it's a process. I mean, that's the whole thing. So it's you having those conversations. And Vincent, if you're having conversations with these property owners and you've talked to over 200, I want you to send me your recordings. I want to hear what that sounds like, because something is going on there. You should be getting 20 leads out of that, and 19 of them won't do business with you, but one will.
So it's not 200 appointments.
No.
It's 200
conversations. Yep.
with a distressed property owner.
That's right.
Yep.
Yep. Ooh, we got a two-parter from Bryson in the house. For on-market properties, what's the minimum a cash buyer would feel comfortable paying under the list price? 30 to 40 under listing?
No.
Keep going. Is there a second part? You want me to? Oh, he's got two questions. Okay. Not a two-part question. No, you need to be 30 to 50 per. If it's listed for 200,000, you need to be at 100,000 or below. You need to be at 30 to 50%. And it just depends on price point at that point. If it's like, if they got it listed for 100, you got to be at like 30,000. And I don't care if it looks good. If the ARV on that's like 150, 160, I still want you at 30,000. That's ridiculous. Look how many people we've celebrated today. I'm telling you, it's real life. That's the way that these deals are getting done, is you get really, really, really good opportunities. The deal of a lifetime comes around once a week. Hashtag Dolph DeRoos, who we will see next week, which is exciting.
Oh, yeah.
He's been saying that since 1998.
I love when you talk about you got to be bold when you're talking about price. When you feel almost embarrassed, right, to drop that price on them, that's the right price.
That's the right.
When you feel in your gut, we're like, oh, and then you just drop it, and then you're surprised.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
The first time I dropped a low anchor at a table with a seller, I was freaking out, man.
Yeah.
I was like, they're going to kick me out of this house.
Yeah.
They're going to punch me in the face and tell me to leave.
Yeah.
I dropped the number, and then they pushed back from the table. Like, that was the immediate reaction. They pushed back from the table. I was like, I'm dead. I'm dead. And then we kept having a conversation and ended up locking that deal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Bryson, another question. For on-market properties listed with an agent, should I throw offers out there if the property's been on the market only a few days, or focus my time on the ones that are 30 days old? It just depends, Bryson. Before I throw out any offers on market, I'm going to have a conversation with that agent to really set yourself apart. Now, what's happening is a lot of people are using Privy. A lot of people are using the software to be able to throw out offers on market deals, and they're canceling because most people are putting it at like 70 or 80%, and they can't sell them. They go to try to sell them. It gets frustrated. They can't sell them. And then it falls out. So number one, stick to your guns. Number two, you have to be the real buyer, right? I am a real buyer. I am communicating with you. I'm building a relationship with you, Mr. or Mrs. Agent. I want to over communicate so that you know that I'm serious about this, and I'm going to make this go as smooth as possible, but it has to be a realistic number. And you'll see these properties go under contract and fall out, under contract, fall out, under contract, fall out. And if that owner has payments on that property, they're going to lower the price dramatically. If it's a family and they're fighting all the time because they get to share in this inherited property and they aren't able to split up the money, and they thought they'd have their money 30 days ago, and now they've got all these ideas and all these plans and all these vacations and all these things that they're going to pay off or do with that money, and they're not getting that money quick, and they're seeing the market drop, you're going to get those deals. But you need to be the backup to the backup to the backup, and always keep contact. Bryson, I'm telling you, nobody's doing this. Everybody's sending in these blind offers. Nobody's having communication. People are just sending offers into the email and hoping and praying it gets accepted, hoping and praying you could get it sold. Sometimes you do. That's the issue. Sometimes you can squeak one through, but 9 times out of 10, you cancel it. And so get in strong with your numbers and be in backup, and just keep talking to the owner, even if it goes under contract. Santana. Hey, Brent, how does Driving for Dollar compare to list pulled from PropStream? Wouldn't PropStream have the same properties? Yes. But the difference is you actually are going out and building a custom list. You are going out there and seeing the ugliest properties. So you know that they're in distress just by the condition. They are in distress, right? If you can easily click 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 filters and be able to pull that list and to be able to get after them, guess what everybody else in your marketplace can do? Now, I'm not saying not to, but that's going to be a more competitive list than your Driving for Dollars list typically. And the facts are 80% of the people that I've interviewed, 80% of the people that I have coached, 80% of the people that I've met at meetups, 80% of the people that I've met at seminars and conferences have gotten their first deal from Driving for Dollars. 80%. I got my first 25 deals from Driving for Dollars. John, how can I help a motivated seller who cannot sell his property until the deed has been signed by his niece? Is there any way around that? Well, I mean, you could get an attorney and see if there's a way around it. But if the niece has to sign, the niece has to sign. You know what I mean? That's title on property. She has ownership rights. And that's a beautiful thing about our country, is we have rights, right? And so you can't just, pull her off a title because the the uncle wants it.
What's
So
what's holding it up?
I would, yeah. Is the niece, John? Is the niece not wanting to sell? Is the niece just really mean?
Do you need to send a courier? Is she like
yeah.
some? You know, what's going on with the niece?
Does the niece even know that they want to sell it? What's the relationship there? And then usually you have to play middleman, right? You got to be in the middle. And if they have a bad or there's tension in that relationship, you go in and you ease that, and you communicate with both and get it signed. But we've done a lot of deals like that, John.
Similar to like a tenant. You
Yeah.
know, that might be a little
for
combative.
sure.
You know, you got to pay. Yeah.
So frame it like this, right? He already figured out the problem that the seller had or the uncle has. Now figure out what the problem that the niece has.
Right.
I mean, you're solving two different problems.
I mean, if
right?
she lives in there, you know, it's going to be, that's a tougher conversation. Chirac, Flock City Entertainment. I got 2 properties in Tennessee locked up just looking for a buyer. Well, congratulations. Here we go. Great question here. I love the follow-up question, and I love the celebration. But you need to reach out. If you don't have buyers in that area, make sure you download the Cash Buyer Pack at ttpinsider.com. All right, that's going to show you how to find the top 100 buyers. And then you need to reach out and you need to talk to all of them. What are you buying right now? Are you on the sidelines? You actively buying? What numbers are you looking for? What areas are you looking for? We need to reverse engineer our wholesales more than ever, because the buyers, it's a buyer's market in a lot of places, and it's going to be a buyer's market in the entire country if interest rates keep creeping.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? And cash really rules when people are sitting on the sideline. Real cash buyers run everything. So talk to them. Have a conversation. You need to put as much effort into finding your deals, into selling your deals as you do finding your deals. Melquan did 45K last week in South Carolina. 17th bell ring. Here we go. Smash those like buttons. Where are we at in likes, Alejandra? Doesn't matter. Let's send out a package. You pick somebody out and we'll put somebody in. Isaac, let's do it. I have my second deal set to close end of the month. Buyer locked in and ready. Come on. I love that guitar. $6,250. $6,250. Split it with a partner. Fantastic. $12,500.
Win-wins,
right there.
man. Win-wins.
Every single minute of every single day.
They were asking about squadding up. That's what squadding up is.
Yeah, exactly. People are getting deals. Every single second of every minute of every day, of every week, of every month, of every year, people are locking up deals. Can be you. Should be you. Will be you. Jeffrey, I'm planning on building a door knocking team for foreclosures. Love it. What would be the steps on building a team, and what would be the daily goals? That's fantastic. So you got a couple options here. Mike and I had an incredible door knocking team when we were young men that would go out, and they were Polynesian. They were a bunch of dudes that connected. They were all family members, and they loved going out there, and they loved splitting the deals with us. That was their deal. They didn't have the expertise. They didn't have the relationships. They didn't really feel comfortable with the title and escrow process or hard money lenders or anything like that, but they were very, very, very kind and motivated, and they would go out to all of them. I mean, they were just relentless. They were incredible, and we got a lot of deals from it. One thing that we found was 90% of the deals we got was from them calling on a leave behind. Remember that? It was literally like it was a printout of the notice of the foreclosure and of the public record, and a phone number written on it, and call us. And they would call, and then they would start the conversation. So not oftentimes did they get in to actually have the conversation right there live. It was a lot of leave behinds. And they just had a stack of papers and a roll of tape, and they just tape it to the door or the car window or the garage door. And people would call on that all day long.
Also, if he's going to do it, he should get a Driving for Dollars app.
Yeah,
You
for
know,
sure.
at a team level, so
You
that
got
he
to
can
track it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That'll
Track
be
it
way
with-
more efficient. Be able to keep them, accountable. So got to get a D for D app.
Batch, leads, deal machine, either one, depends on your budget. Incredible. There you go. Can do, I love that. Can do investments. I have a gentleman that is looking to sell me his portfolio of 15 properties. Off market, 96% are occupied at a 6.6 cap. I've never did something on this level. Any advice? Yes, he's asking too much. I'm going to tell you, I'm going to take a stab at it, and because 99% of the deals that I comp like this, they want retail value. It doesn't matter about cap. If they're throwing out cap rate to you, they want too much. If they say it's a cap, is it 6.6 cap? They want way too much, because they're not taking into account all of the repairs that are going to need to be done to those properties. They're not taking into account once they transition from, them owning these properties to somebody else. Is somebody else going to try to raise the rents on them? Have the rents been raised on them? There's a lot of different factors. What I would say can do is I would say, what's your worst property? What's your worst property? Let me give you an offer on that and see if it makes sense. But if they're throwing out cap properties and they're trying to make this like a commercial deal as opposed to, here's a great price for these properties, I just want to get rid of them, it's too much. It's too much. Go talk to your buyers right now. I guarantee you, if you go talk to your cash buyers and you go, I've got a 6.6 cap rate on this portfolio of 15 properties, they will say, I need it at half that price.
50%.
Well, doing value add on a single family portfolio is a lot more expensive than multifamily. So
Explain why.
you walk in, if you're getting, say that you're getting 15 units, right, on a multifamily, they're all together, doing a value add a play where you increase rents and that kind of stuff, it's going to be a lot cheaper than doing 15 individual rehabs.
Right.
Yeah, so I mean that's another thing to factor in. That's why the cap rate doesn't necessarily play out the same way as if it was a multifamily to start off with. So.
Right. And I mean, yeah. And is there an ability to raise the rent?
Right.
Yeah. If they say cap rate to you, they want retail.
Yeah.
I'm just telling you. I've had, I don't know. I'll be realistic. Probably 100 conversations. I was going to go 1,000, but not that many. 100 conversations every single time an investor that owned a portfolio of properties said the word cap rate, they wanted retail. Every time. Elijah, what's the earliest I should cold call while getting good contact rates? When the sun's up. The rule of thumb is if the sun's up, call. If the sun's not up yet, I mean, if you're calling at like 6 a.m., it's going to be rough.
So
Right?
8 o'clock?
Well, it just depends. I mean, I have prospected at 7 o'clock before, and it was pretty good contact rate. I think 7 is probably the earliest. Yeah. Arturo, is Big Mike back? You know he is. Look at him. He is back and better than ever.
That's right.
He's got his cool summer neon hat on.
Got the white
backwards.
Got the white
He's got the
TTP shirt.
white
I mean, come on.
TTP shirt. He is bold, guys. Absolutely. Chirac, can you explain how the interest rate affects the buyer's market? Yeah, we are a payment society. So when it was 2 or 3% interest rates, the payment each month was much smaller. So that affects how much people could afford. And because it's either 15 or 30-year mortgages typically, now you could find some that are 40-year or longer, and the banks will play around with it a little bit, but we're a payment society. So if the payments are higher, then people can't afford as much. And so that affects that, properties, the values of the properties, because they just sit on the market. And all of the people that were waiting on the sidelines for the market to hit its peak have thrown their properties on the market. And all the people that had come into the market as fix and flippers are flooding the market with all their flips as fast as possible to minimize their losses, and they're taking big losses. And it depends on where you're at. If you're in Chicago, the price points are high, so it'll definitely affect you, or affect that above $500,000 properties, or that between $500,000 and $500,000 and $1 million properties are the ones really taking the punch to the face. And so yeah, it's just payments. The payments are higher. And so buyer, and the other reason is a lot of people bought in the last 10 years, and they're in like 1 to 3% interest rates. So they go to their wife and they go, honey, you want to move, but the interest rates are now 6.3%. Our house, I know it's a little bit cramped, but we're at 2.5%. Like, do we want to be house poor, where all our money goes to the payment there and we don't have a lot of disposable income for the rest of it? Let's just sit tight and wait for a Republican to get into presidency. No, no, but let's wait for interest rates to go down. Brandon Mitchell. Oh,
right.
It's about time.
Boom.
Come on, Brandon.
Nobody deserves it more than Brandon Mitchell. Great call, Handra. Great call. Great call.
She's crushing.
What's the best way to comp? I'm doing ARV. Yes. Yep. They should look at you crazy, Liana. They should. If you're going after on-market deals, I wouldn't even go. I'm even more aggressive. Because if it's a rough property on the market, I'm going 30 to 50% of what it's listed for. I don't even care what the ARV is. I really don't. I mean, I do, but that's not what I'm basing my offers on. So if it's a really smoking hot deal, it would be snatched up, bought, closed, done within the first week. But if it's sitting there and it's fallen out of escrow several times, you got to be dramatic with your offers. And listen, you're going to have to make a lot more. You're going to have to make twice as many offers as you did 120 days ago. And you're going to make half as much on these deals now.
And when she offers it, so should she do it just kind of mumbling, or should she do it with enthusiasm?
Yeah.
Right?
Listen, I know you're not going to accept this offer, but I can offer you on you have a property listed for $150,000. I can offer you $50,000. Okay? But I can actually close. So I'm going to stay in front of you. I know you're not going to accept it now. I know that your seller's not going to accept it now. I know that it's an insult to them. I know that all those things. But if for some reason if this property keeps getting locked up and canceled and canceled and canceled, and you want a real buyer, I can close at this price, as is. You don't have to pay a buyer's commission. The seller doesn't have to pay a buyer's commission. They get that net. I'll pay all the closing costs. But if you could sell for more, absolutely sell for more. I know that you think I'm crazy, but this is where I need to be to make this make sense. And I think it's realistic based on what's going on in the economy and in the real estate market right now. Last question. All right, let's get you guys to come on in. Procured Leverage Group. What would be a good strategy for B and H within markets as it is now? For buy and hold? Oh, God. Here's the thing. Buy in neighborhoods that are in good school districts. That's the rule. Seriously. If you want to have the least amount of problems and make the most profit and have a really, really robust, strong portfolio, buy in really good school districts. Always. Right? I know that you can get into properties and you can get creative deals here and you can get them on the outskirts and you can have 1,000 million doors. There is a reason that most of our properties are bought from tired landlords. Mm-hmm. There's a reason. Because it's exhausting. And when people beat up your properties and they're not really appreciating, and all of the profits, all the appreciation that you've gotten, or all the equity that you got from getting a really smoking deal just evaporates because something happens to that property, or somebody stops paying, and then they'll drag out the eviction process and all this, and you have to keep you have to keep freshening up those properties every single year to 18 months. If you get properties and this is from Michael Jake, a great mentor of mine, 20, 30, $40 million guy, right? He always, in good school districts, they will stay there forever. They're going to take really good care of your property, and they're going to pay on time. So I think that was the best advice that I ever received if you're going to own rental properties. All right, come on in. Alejandra, Matt, crushed it today. Thank you, guys. Alejandra is on the comments. Matt is on all the technical side of everything. He sets it all up, makes this all happen. Rafael, the man. CEO Pulse and Mike Mahoney here. We love you guys. We celebrate you guys. Congratulations on all the success. Remember, keep your house clean, your actual house and this house, right? Protect your health and increase your value to the world, and you will live an incredible life. I love you. I'll see you in 2 weeks.
Boom!